Alright guys, we're gonna play some ranked Apex Season 8 today. It's gonna be so much fun!
What's going on? My name is Grizzy, and today we have a coaching video that aims to help you guys to improve at Apex and to gain higher ranks. This last split in Apex Season 8, I ended up as the 347th Apex Predator on PC, so I'm going to try to help you guys to improve with my knowledge on landing locations, rotations, and the best ways to approach fights at all stages in the game. If you guys are interested at improving at the game of Apex, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and join the Bears Den Discord. Also, keep in mind, I do have a full playlist for the Apex Legends Predator coaching series, so if you guys want to go back and look at any of those other videos, I have tons of tips that are going to help you guys out in ranked. With that being said, let's get into these clips and let's get into this coaching video. So we have this clip submitted by Nelly, and as you guys can see here, she is popping off. She's got 7 kills, 2 assists. She is a Platinum 4, and they have great positioning. They're moving into the 4th ring, and if you can see, they do have high ground, and they're pinging people at carrier. Let's see what they do here.
Behind us.
So they know that one team, or at least one person, is at carrier, and they do know that the other team is right behind them from that last call out. So when there's those last 2 teams in the game, typically you do want them to fight each other, and there are going to be times where you're going to have to initiate that first fight, but just keep in mind that when you are a part of those final 3 squads, you're going to want to come in for the third party to win that game. So one thing I do want to point out with this is they have very poor communication. As you can listen back, it's kind of hard to understand. Somebody's just saying buka buka buka. I don't know exactly what they're saying, but just be quick and concise and loud with your communication.
Okay, he's almost dead.
All right, but they do a really good job here. If somebody goes down, here is a tip. You and your other teammate are going to want to immediately relocate together and stack up on that position. Unless that man is in no man's land and he is not able to be picked up, you want to immediately move your position to that knocked player and see if you guys have time to get that revive off. Now here they're able to scan and see that the other team is not pushing. Another tip is that when a team gets a knockdown, that is your point to ape that squad. Unless your whole team is pretty low, I think that when you get a knock, that is usually your opening that you want to be aggressive. I really think that that other squad, knowing that there was the other final team at carrier, this team, I know that they had a broken Pathfinder. The Octane from this team made it loud and clear that the Pathfinder was cracked on this team, that he was one shot. But what this team should have done when they got that knockdown, they needed to rotate right around to this position and just flank you guys from behind and get a clean wipe. If you get a knockdown, be aggressive unless your whole team is really low and get that quick wipe and be prepared for the third party. So she's got the gold bag, which is really clutch. This Bloodhound does a great job. He's taking shots. He's putting on shots from that other team trying to third party. Now immediately get back to cover. They do a great job here finding the closest building. And I like that Nelly gets on top. They're playing a really good formation here. So Apex is all about positioning, and this team that approaches this fight has terrible positioning. Meanwhile, Nelly's team has great positioning. I like that the Horizon is on high ground. The other 2 players are down here. One might be healing. The other one's kind of giving an overlook. But this other team, how they need to push this, they need to have one person here on this head glitch instead of just pushing on the low ground. Looks like they have another player here and then another one here. No one is really utilizing cover. A smart push would have been somebody here, you know, somebody taking cover right here, and then somebody utilizing this. That way they can all kind of put shots on her up top and the guys on the side, and then push in all together at the same time. So now when the opposite happens, when they get a knock, let's see how aggressive they get on this. So I like to call out that her teammate is pushing now that they have the knockdown. And this Bloodhound is in absolute no man's land. This is what you do not want to do. When your teammate goes down, you get back to that team. Also, another tip with strafing or with movement in this game. When you get caught out in a position like this, you never want to just stand and straight look at your target and then just back straight up to where you want to go. You're just absolutely gonna get beamed, no questions asked. Right now, this Bloodhound needs to see that he is in a terrible spot. He needs to turn his head. So turn his head and just run immediately to the cover back this way. Get back to his other teammates. Instead, he just does the complete wrong thing. He keeps line of sight. He keeps ADSing or aiming down his sights at Nelly, and he just backs up slowly, and it is a very easy target to hit. So now here at this point, they need to keep in mind that this last squad is probably getting close for the third party. Nelly has low health. She doesn't have her shield. But what I want Nelly to do is I want her to provide presence on this last player. I think they all need to ape the last person and just get that kill out of the way and get an armor swap. Instead, Nelly's taking a battery. She could have thirsted and grabbed the purple from the Bloodhound instead to be a little bit quicker. And she's worrying about the thirst. They needed to kind of just go and ape that last player, but that's okay. Now just get ready for this last squad. So they know it's a solo and they know it's a trio right beneath them. They have the high ground. They have great positioning for winning this game. This is what you want to win the game. You want this high ground. You want them to have to come to you, or you want to control the game. You want to control the presence of the fight. Then if you're going to EMP, it needs to be for a purpose. Right here, they get EMP, but it really doesn't mean anything. So at this point, we know there's a full team beneath them, and there's the one solo player all back in the corner by himself. Now, what I think Nelly does here for a couple of her shots is stay up here, see if she can get a quick knock on this target right here. She has decent line of sight. If she cannot get that knock there, she could drop down here, play this positioning here. That way she has line of sight at this team, and she can hit this guy if she needs to. But then her teammates just need to really back her up. She needs to be the IGL here with the Kraber and be kind of the anchor and let her teammates know how to play off of her. Also, really at this point, I don't think the solo is that big of a threat. He's just a single Bloodhound in the corner. So really, I think she kind of goes down. She gets an angle on this team underneath her, and then her teammates kind of guard her while she kind of pokes at this team underneath. So right here, Nelly throws her ultimate ability and doesn't really get good max effectiveness with it. She doesn't throw any grenades. She doesn't have any grenades, and she needs to communicate to her teammates that she's throwing her ultimate ability and for them to throw arc stars and thermite grenades to try to really do some damage with that black hole. Woo, let's go. What a shot. Let's go.
In here, right here, in here.
So those are two beautiful shots. Now this teammate needs to ape with them. Yep. Now Nelly, you just need to get right in there immediately. Just run in there. Yep, there you go. Easy enough, easy enough. The only thing I would say about that, you could just make that a little bit quicker. If this wasn't an in-game scenario, what you could do is, what I would personally do is I would just come right here. I'd probably even climb up and just start shooting him in the back right here instead of just holding. Those knockdown shields are kind of getting in your way from that final shot. But other than that, Nelly did an absolutely great job there. So we'll go over a quick overview of kind of the general coaching tips that we got from watching this game. So a general overview for Nelly's coaching is, first off, to make sure to locate the last remaining teams and their locations for the end of the game. If you're in the last 3 squads, typically you want to be that last team to fight so you can have an easy third party for the win. This won't always happen though, so don't feel like you have to play super passive in the late game. Now when your teammates go down, instantly stack up on your teammate and use your abilities. Right here, Bloodhound got a good scan to see enemy movement and was able to see if the team was pushing them or not. Other legends that they were using were Horizon and Octane. Now don't forget that Octane's pad and even Horizon's lift, those can be clutch to reposition down players for some clutch revives. In addition, when you do get a knockdown, majority of the time that is your signal to push, and that opposing team you need to put on the pressure. Apex is all about having numbers, and 3 pushing players versus 2 defending typically favors that attacking squad. Now keep in mind what exact lanes that you are playing with your push as well. Don't have your teammates all stack up on the same position, and take separate angles to push a team. Having separate angles will allow your team to team fire at certain legends, but also will allow you to be aggressive and also have your teammates back if they do need you. Now in an in-game scenario, if you have a Kraber, you need to be clear and concise with your comms and lead the team. They need to know when you get a big shot off and when they should push, because you are basically the scouting player at this point. Also keep in mind that if it's in-game and you have a full team and then also a solo off to the side, the full team is really the biggest threat at that point, and you can focus the solo later on. Now lastly, let your teammates know when your ultimate abilities are being put to use, especially Horizon's Black Hole. Make sure you're chucking arc stars and you have your teammates throwing grenades at that ultimate ability as well, just for maximum effectiveness. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video. Make sure you like it so we can share it to other players, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to join the Bears Den, and let me know in the comment section below if you would be interested in coaching as well. Alright guys, I'll see you on the next video. I'm Grizzy, and I'm out. Peace.